Hello, my friends. Good evening. This is Tausif, starting a new live stream. And our focus going forward is going to be on election 2026. Okay, so different live streams, but pretty much focusing on election 2026. And there's a lot at stake in November that's coming up. Less than a year from now, November 2026. And I hope that you will stay connected with me and join me for these live streams. And I also am going to be publishing podcast episodes talking about election 2026, gubernatorial races, Senate races, maybe some House races too, that I would like to discuss. Okay, so if you're tuning in, please like this video, share this video. That's how you can support this channel. If you are here for the first time, please make sure that you are subscribing to stay connected. I would appreciate that very, very much. Okay, so let's get started. My friends, let me ask you this. Is anyone talking about the US Senate race in Maine? Anyone talking about the US Senate race in Maine? Please let me know in the live chat if you have been thinking about that. I would like to hear your thoughts. We don't usually talk about Maine when we're talking politics, nationally. I mean, it's not a state that you hear about a lot. Okay, Z is here. Hello, Z. Thanks for being here. Good evening. How many times do you hear about Maine when you're listening to discussion about national politics? I mean, you'll hear a lot about the battleground states. You'll hear a lot about Wisconsin. You'll hear about Michigan, about Pennsylvania, and there are others. You'll probably hear a lot about Texas, of course. There's always some news about Texas. You'll hear a lot about California, probably the most, right? California is always in the news for something. And then New York, undoubtedly. New York is in the news a lot. Florida is in the news a lot. Georgia, why not? North Carolina going forward is going to be in the news quite a bit as we enter 2026. But do you hear a lot about Maine? Derek's here. Hello, Derek. Salerno is here. Hello, Salerno. Thanks for being here. Make sure you like this video. Like this video, my friends. Yeah, you'll hear about North Carolina because Michael Whatley is running for Senate there, and that's the key state to watch. But when it comes to Maine, we're not hearing a lot. And that's why I think it is important to talk about Maine. That's what I'm going to do, okay? I do not believe that we have discussed Maine in details on this channel. Probably not, right? But now is really the time to do that because there's a very important US Senate race coming up in Maine, and I want you to focus on this. That's why the title of this live stream is Maine, Focus on Maine. My friends, it's one of the races that's being labeled as a toss-up. Now, I don't know if you are going to agree with that label. I mean, what you call toss-up is really subjective, okay? Someone might say that a race is toss-up, meaning it could go either way, right? Others might say that, oh, it leans to the right or it leans to the left. We're very used to the term toss-up here in Wisconsin. Toss-up. Being a purple state, we hear about competitive races in Wisconsin, and so especially when you're looking at statewide races. So we hear the term swing state, purple state. Oh, this is a toss-up. This race is a toss-up. But we're not talking about Wisconsin today. Believe me, there's going to be a lot to talk about regarding Wisconsin as we look at 2026. There's a governor's race coming up here in Wisconsin. There are also key House races and also state legislative seats are going to be up for re-election in Wisconsin that we can discuss. So we can talk about statewide races in Wisconsin, House races, so on and so forth. But today, we are not here to talk about Wisconsin. We'll do that later. And of course, I'll do that because I live in Wisconsin. Today we'll talk about Maine. Okay, so U.S. Senator Susan Collins is running for re-election. She is widely known she's a widely known political figure. Let's see. Okay. All right, I see someone saying blue wave. Okay, hold on a second, my friends. I'm gonna be back. Stay here. All right. So somebody here said blue wave, and here's my answer. Make America great again. Okay, you love my hat. I know people miss my hat, so my hat is back. I just had to get up to go get it. Yeah, now people are talking about artwork. Yeah, I got nice artwork at home. Absolutely. Anyway, yeah, look, all beautiful artwork right there. So my friends, today we'll talk about Maine. U.S. Senator Susan Collins is running for re-election, and she's a widely known political figure. She has been in the Senate for a long time, and she's very well respected. And she's a Republican senator. So that is the main Senate seat, the Senate seat we're talking about. We have that seat. Oh, is Gianna here? Hi, Gianna. Good to see you. We have that Senate seat right now. We have a Republican senator who's up for re-election in 2026. That's Susan Collins. Widely respected political figure. Widely known political figure, definitely, and well respected, definitely. But she's also known as a swing vote in the Senate. She's a Republican, Susan Collins, but she's not always a guaranteed Republican vote. For example, during Pete Hexet's confirmation process, Susan Collins voted no on Pete Hexet. So when Pete Hexet was a nominee for the position of the Secretary of Defense, when he was going through his confirmation process and he needed support from the senators, yes, Pete Hexet eventually did get confirmed, which is why he's now the Secretary of Defense, renamed. Now he's the Secretary of War. But his confirmation process was very, very intense. And if you remember, there were senators strongly in support of Pete Hexet. There were senators strongly against Pete Hexet's confirmation. But here's what happened during that process. Senator Susan Collins voted no on Pete Hexet. Okay? Being a Republican, she voted no. So she was one of the few Republican no votes on Pete Hexet. So Senator Susan Collins, Senator Mitch McConnell, Senator Lisa Murkowski, they voted no. Because we have 53 seats in the Senate, when 3 Republican senators vote no, and all Democrat senators vote no, it comes down to a 50-50 vote, which is when J.D. Vance, the vice president, had to do the tiebreaker vote. So this is one example of Republican Senator Susan Collins not really voting in the same way as most of the other Republican senators. Now, then again, I'm going to give you a different example. I remember in 2018, when Senator Collins announced that she would vote to support Brett Kavanaugh's nomination. Do you remember at the time judicial nominee Brett Kavanaugh's confirmation process? That was big news back then. Do you remember that? I hope you do. I hope most of you do. Oh, I see some new folks here. All right, people are asking me about my viewpoints. I think you can understand my overall viewpoints pretty well. I am MAGA, Make America Great Again. Anyway, let me continue. Brett Kavanaugh, by the way, he is truly an amazing Supreme Court justice. He is doing great, Brett Kavanaugh. A truly wonderful gentleman. I have not met him, but he has excellent reputation. But you remember, back when he was a nominee, back when he was still not confirmed to be on the Supreme Court, remember how the Democrats, they tried desperately to stop Brett Kavanaugh's nomination. I remember all that. I remember all that. The Democrats, they were fierce in their opposition to Brett Kavanaugh. Remember all the news, it was all over the news. Everyone was talking about it. And there was such strong support for Brett Kavanaugh from the Republicans and from people in general. From the people in general, because I remember having conversations with people back then on that topic as it was going on right here in Wisconsin. I was talking to people, and people just kept telling me, this is a great man, Brett Kavanaugh. We have full confidence. He's well qualified. He should be on the Supreme Court. Everyone should vote to confirm Brett Kavanaugh to be on the Supreme Court. And people were sick and tired of the drama that the Democrats were creating. Remember all that drama? Remember all that drama. Everything that the Democrats did back then to stop Brett Kavanaugh's confirmation. But you know what? The truth prevails. In the end, Brett Kavanaugh did get confirmed, and now he is a Supreme Court justice, and we're very happy about that. So anyway, during that process, there was a big question about how Senator Susan Collins would vote, whether she would vote to support Brett Kavanaugh or whether she would vote against Brett Kavanaugh. I mean, one would assume that because she is a Republican, she would vote in support of the nominee, the person being nominated by Republican President Donald Trump. But then because Susan Collins has a reputation of being a swing vote in the Senate, there was no guarantee that she would vote yes. And let me tell you, I was very, very happy when Senator Collins announced publicly that she would vote to support Brett Kavanaugh's nomination. I think that was a very, very important point in our nation's history, okay? I mean, remember, President Trump, during his first term in office, how many Supreme Court justices did he nominate who got confirmed? 3. Brett Kavanaugh. Justice Gorsuch, Neil Gorsuch, and Amy Coney Barrett. And I was happy. I was so happy. I said, thank you, Senator Collins, for supporting Brett Kavanaugh. That was truly, truly wonderful. So Brett Kavanaugh got confirmed, and here we are. So anyway, back to the U.S. Senate race in Maine. By the way, is there anyone from Maine watching this? Are you watching this from Maine? If there's anyone from Maine, please let me know in the live chat. I would like to hear your thoughts. Derek, thank you so much for your kind words. Thank you, Derek. There's Vilma from California. Okay. Lou is talking about Wisconsin politics. Oh, you think no one keeps up with Wisconsin politics? What are you talking about? What are you talking about? Before the November 2024 election, people were talking about Wisconsin all the time, and people still do. People still do. Wisconsin has always been very, very important. Remember, 2016, President Donald J. Trump made history by winning Wisconsin. Remember that? 2024. Wisconsin is the state that helped Donald J. Trump, 2024. Wisconsin helped Donald J. Trump reach the threshold in terms of the Electoral College, 270. Remember, Wisconsin delivered that victory to Donald J. Trump election night 2024. And everyone's still talking about Wisconsin. People will talk about Wisconsin, always, all right? You can call us a purple state. You can call us a swing state. That is fine. But we are important, and we always will be. All right, thank you so much, my friends, for being here. Salerno is saying that was great. Salerno remembers that. Mr. T is saying MAGA. Thank you so much. All right. Okay. Lou is now saying congratulations then. Thank you so much, Lou. Yes, congratulations to us. Congratulations to Wisconsin for delivering that victory to President Donald J. Trump on election night. And here we are. We got the greatest president in the White House right now, thanks to Wisconsin. Okay, we're going to be talking about Maine. Anyone from Maine watching this? I don't think so, right? We got... Who do we have here? We don't have Maine, right? Sonny is saying 7 swing states. Absolutely, Sonny. We got Alabama. We got Alabama right here. Derek's from Alabama. Who else? Oh, we got Chicago. Chicago, Illinois. Hey, that's awesome. Hey, listen. Chicago is not too far. I go to Chicago quite a bit. I like it. I mean, Chicago's got lots of problems, obviously, politically, but, you know, I just like to go there sometimes and, drive there a couple hours. I'm in Chicago a couple hours. I'm back from Chicago because I'm in Madison, Wisconsin, southern Wisconsin. We got Texas here. Awesome. Hey, listen, if you're watching this for the first time and you have not subscribed to this channel, please do so. All right. As you can see on this channel, I'm not the only one talking because you also are participating. Okay. This is a channel where we interact. It's interactive. So, this is a channel that you want to be a part of. So please make sure that you're subscribing. All right. Okay. I saw a report that Maine's Senate race is the 4th most expensive race in the nation. Wow. Wow. Can you believe that? Can you believe that? You know what? I can believe it. I can believe it. The Democrats, they are going to be pouring tons and tons and tons of money into that race. Because Maine overall is a Democrat state. It's a Democrat heavy state, but we have a Republican senator in Maine. She has been there for a long time, for decades, and she's running for re-election, and she's strong. And we hope that she wins. We hope that Susan Collins wins. Okay? Yes, she does not always vote in the same manner as the other Republicans in the Senate, but that's okay. That's okay. Yes, she tends to be a swing vote. That's okay. Remember, on very critical issues, Susan Collins voted the right way. For example, I said Brett Kavanaugh. So Susan Collins, she has to get reelected in order for the Republicans to stay in the Senate majority. That's right. We have 53 seats in the Senate right now. And the Democrats are trying to take seats away from the Republicans. The Democrats are trying to take the majority away from the Republicans, and we cannot allow that to happen. We have to, we the Republicans, we the conservatives, we the freedom-loving Americans, we have to stay in control in the Senate, in the House. And my friends, that's why we must win this Senate race in Maine. It's a Democrat-heavy state, but if somebody can get reelected in Maine, it's Susan Collins. This midterm election is going to be so important. And the Democrats, as I said, they're going to be pouring in tons of money into that Senate race in Maine because it's a Democrat state. They feel like they have a good shot at winning this. That's how the Democrats are feeling. They think that they can capture the Senate seat, but we cannot allow that to happen. So anyone watching from Maine, please start paying attention. Please start paying attention because we must defend the Maine Senate seat, and we must do so very, very successfully, my friends. The Democrats are desperate to be back in the majority, and so they are looking at Maine's Senate seat, and we, the Republicans, must win. We cannot lose that Senate seat. We cannot lose that Senate seat. Listen, when I look at midterm 2026, when I look at November 2026, when the elections will be held, I would like to see the Republican number of seats go up from 53 to 54 to 55. I would like to see the Republicans win a couple of seats at least to increase the size of the majority. So we definitely cannot afford to lose any. Let's say we win in Georgia. We defeat Jon Ossoff, okay? By the way, I'm feeling optimistic about defeating Jon Ossoff in Georgia. Hopefully that'll happen. And so that's a seat we can pick up. We can win in Georgia. What would happen if we did? We go up from 53 to 54 seats. That's an improvement. But then what happens if we end up losing in Maine? We're back to 53. We cannot allow that to happen. We have to defend our seats and then win some. Does that make sense? Tommy Brown's here. Tommy Brown, how are you doing? I am sure that Tommy Brown likes my hat. Let me make a guess. Does Tommy Brown like my hat? I think he does. Thanks for being here. All right. So I think you get my point. We cannot lose. We cannot lose in Maine. And I'm going to be going state by state, talking about the different races, talking about what's at stake, talking about the different candidates, talking about the incumbents and the challengers. I'm going to do that. So you need to stay in touch with my channel. So make sure you subscribe. Edwin's your Edwin. Good to see you. Good to see you. Thank you all. I see some new names today. I hope you all have subscribed. I hope so, right? By the way, let's see how many Trump supporters are here. Please write MAGA. Please write MAGA if you support Trump, or you can write Trump. My friends, hold on a second here. Tommy Brown is writing Trump. Thank you, Tommy. All right. Andre is writing Trump. Edwin is writing MAGA. Tommy Brown writes MAGA. Salerno writes MAGA. Tommy Brown writes MAGA forever. I love that one. MAGA forever. Absolutely. Hey, listen. Introduce yourself if you're here for the first time and be a part of this community. My friends, let's see who's running from the Democrat side. There's Governor Janet Mills. She's running for Senate. She's a Democrat. And you know what? She might end up being the Democrat nominee. We don't know that for a fact. Can't make a prediction because it looks like the Democrats are going to have a primary. There's also another name that I saw being mentioned in the news quite a bit. A name that's Graham Plattner. Graham Plattner, okay. So there's Governor Janet Mills, Democrat, running for Senate. And there's also Graham Plattner. Plattner, based on reports, is a progressive. Okay. Listen, can anyone tell me what a progressive means? What it means to be a progressive. This guy, Graham Plattner, running for Senate as a Democrat as a Democrat in Maine. Can anyone tell me what a progressive means? Look over there. Somebody answered that question right as I asked it. Right away. We got an answer right here. It says progressive means communist. How many of you agree with that? Progressive means communist. Anyone? That's right. That's right. Progressive is just a fancy word for a far left activist type, I don't know, communist. Yeah, that's, they don't like saying communist anymore. So they came up with that fancy word, Democrat Socialist. Heard that? Democrat Socialist. AOC is a Democrat Socialist. Mamdani is a Democrat Socialist, I think, or maybe just a socialist. Listen, the Democrats, they play with language. They play with all these different labels and terms. They say, oh, no, this is not communism. This is Democrat socialism. It means the same thing. So progressive is another word, name a progressive politician. Name a progressive politician. Who's here from Chicago? Who's here from Chicago? I know there's one person here from Chicago. Who is it? In Chicago, you got a progressive. You know who I'm talking about? I'm talking about Brandon Johnson. Brandon Johnson. Z moved from Chicago. Tommy Brown was born in Chicago. Can I call you Chief? Is that Chief? I don't know. Is in Chicago. Anyone else? Chicago has a progressive mayor, meaning a far left mayor, meaning a politician who likes to take more money out of hardworking Americans' pockets in the form of taxes and fees. That's what you get with a progressive politician. If you elect a progressive, you're going to get higher taxes and fees. That's it. Okay? No real work gets done. No real work gets done. It's all about taking money out of people's pockets. That's what progressives do. Here's the funny thing. There's no progress associated with being a progressive. You know, the word is supposed to mean something good. You might say, oh, progressive means progress. So somebody's probably going to be making a lot of progress. There's going to be a lot of things are going to get done. Bridges may be built, you know, new houses may be built. Maybe there's going to be progress in lowering taxes. Maybe there's going to be progress in fighting inflation. Maybe there's going to be progress in drilling for more oil, and maybe we're going to lower the gas prices. You know, but you know what? With a progressive politician, you don't get any of that. When you elect a progressive, you might think there's going to be real progress, but there's nothing. Nothing gets done. With a progressive politician, you just get a left-wing activist, and all you get will be higher taxes, higher fees, you know, property taxes going up, sales tax going up, okay? You get that. Nothing gets done. No repairs, no maintenance, nothing. My friends, let me know if you agree with me or you don't. Everyone's welcome. Everyone's welcome to be a part of this channel. You don't have to agree with me, but I hope you do. Oh, Steven's here. Steven's from Illinois. Steven also knows what I'm talking about. Steven, you're in Southern Illinois. Steven, you're lucky that you're in Southern Illinois. You're not in Northern Illinois, because if you're in Northern Illinois, especially if you're in the Chicago area, that's problematic, right? Lots of problems, lots of crime. Southern Illinois is much better, I think. Well, I mean, there are parts of Northern Illinois that are great. You know, there are some red areas, some Republican districts. But if you are in Cook County, that's a problem. All right. So anyway, back to the discussion. I was talking about this candidate that the Democrats have named Graham Plattner. Okay? And based on reports, Plattner is a progressive. And I just talked a lot about what it means to be a progressive. All right? There's no progress. Left wing, far left. About Graham Plattner, you know, I was looking up this guy, and I was actually going through his website, trying to read his policy positions, trying to find out more about what he believes in. And there's a long list. There's a long list that I'm not going to go through, but I'm just going to tell you one thing. Graham Plattner, running as a Democrat, running for U.S. Senate in Maine, one of his policy positions is that he wants to stop mass deportation. He wants to stop mass deportation. Can you believe that? Mass deportation is what the American people voted for. And Graham Plattner, Democrat, progressive, wants to stop mass deportation. Oh my God. The people who came in illegally through the southern border during the Biden administration, because the Biden administration just kept the border open, allowed people to come in. That was an invasion. Donald Trump said that. It's an invasion. And now The Trump administration is repairing the damage, fixing the problem, sending people back to where they belong. Sending them back because they have no legal status, the illegal immigrants. They're illegal. They don't have any legal status. They don't belong in the United States of America. They need to go back to wherever they came from. And that's why we need mass deportation. That's why people voted for Donald Trump, to make sure mass deportation takes place. And it is taking place. Great things are being done. Tom Homan's working hard. Kristi Noem's working hard. There are great people in the Trump administration who are working very hard day and night, making sure that we ensure border security and we enforce our nation's immigration laws. And here's Graham Plattner running for Senate in Maine, and he wants to stop mass deportation. That's it. That's all you need to know to reject Graham Plattner. The people of Maine, are you listening to me? The people of Maine, if you are in Maine, maybe you're listening and you're not participating in the live chat. Maybe you just want to listen to what I have to say. Maybe you're reading the comments in the live chat. Maybe you're listening to the discussion. That's fine. Listen, I'm here to tell you that whenever someone says, oh, stop mass deportation, you got to reject that candidate. You got to reject that candidate. Mass deportation, why is it necessary? It's necessary because Biden allowed millions and millions of people, foreign nationals with no legal status, allowed them to come into the United States. Biden created that problem, which is why mass deportation is necessary. 4 years of absolute hell that we went through. Remember, starting in 2021, ending in 2024, end of 2024. In those 4 years, with the border wide open, so many people from all over the world came in illegally. We're not complaining about legal immigrants, no. Those who came in legally, those who are following our nation's immigration laws, those who are respecting our Constitution, doing everything properly, they're here. Many are becoming U.S. citizens, naturalized. That's great. These are people we want. These are people who are helping make America great again, greater than ever before. Legal immigration is good. Illegal immigration is bad. And also, if somebody comes in legally, but then breaks a law, then commits crimes, that's also a problem. So I think it's very clear. Follow the legal process, come in legally, follow the law, be a good, productive individual, pursue citizenship, love this country, stay in this country, be a part of the greatest country in the world. It's very simple. If someone's coming in legally, but then breaking the law, committing crimes, that's a problem. If someone is coming in illegally, that's a problem at the very start. So mass deportation, when Graham Plattner says, stop mass deportation, that is so wrong. This is a person who should be rejected. The voters in Maine, if you're listening to me, you got to reject Graham Plattner, okay? And then Janet Mills. What am I going to say about Janet Mills? Just another left-wing politician. She wants free community college. How does that even work? Free community college. How does that work? How does that work? Is there anything in this country that's free? Is there anything in this world that's free? Someone's paying for it. Someone's paying for everything. Listen. See how they say free community college? I think the proper label should be taxpayer-funded community college. That's a more appropriate term. If you are going to be advocating for something, then describe it properly. State the term properly so that the meaning is clear. To say free community college, it just sounds, oh, that's great, it's free. But someone's paying for it. Who's paying for it? Taxpayers. If you really want to have free community college, you should call it taxpayer-funded community college, because then People are going to say, oh, right, it's not free. Maybe there's no tuition. Maybe when you're enrolling, you don't have to pay anything, maybe. But someone's paying for it. Who's paying for it? Taxpayers. All right, okay, now it makes sense. Do you agree with me, my friends? Let me know. Let me know in the live chat. I want to hear your thoughts, okay? Edwin says Trump. Thank you, Edwin. Look. What kind of a comment? Bruce, okay? Is that Bruce? Bruce is writing, okay? Listen, Bruce. You have a completely wrong idea, okay? So regarding President Trump, when President Trump visited Wisconsin and he held a historic event in Waunakee, Wisconsin, in Dane County. Dane County is where I live. You know what? At that event, I was invited to lead everyone in the Pledge of Allegiance, in case you didn't know that. Okay? At Trump's event, at Donald Trump's event. This was last year, before the election. It was in October of 2024, if I'm remembering correctly. I think, yeah, it was October 2024. President Trump came to Dane County, Wisconsin, and I was invited by President Trump's team, by the Trump team, to be on stage and to lead everyone in the Pledge of Allegiance. So that is such an honor. I'll never forget that day. What an honor. What an honor it was. So, Bruce, whatever you're writing, I'm not going to read your words. I'm not going to read it out loud. You wrote something very, very negative, so I wanted to share that information with you. All right. Salerno, thank you so much. Salerno writes, wow, that's awesome, Tassif. Thank you. Thanks so much. All right. Edwin says, Tassif, that was a great day for us all. Thank you, Edwin. I appreciate that very much. Let's see. Okay, so Janet Mills, just another left-wing politician running for Senate, wants free community college, as I said, and many other things. Okay, really taxpayer funded. And so, I think you understand the picture. We can spend the next few hours here talking about the Senate race in Maine. I'm not going to do that. All I want you to understand is that Susan Collins must be reelected. Susan Collins must be reelected, okay? She's a Republican. She has been in the Senate for a very long time. She's experienced running for reelection, and she must be reelected because we cannot allow that Senate seat to be lost. We cannot allow that Senate seat to be snatched away from the Republicans by the Democrats. Do you agree with me, my friends? Let me know in the live chat. Steven's agreeing with me. Thank you, Steven. Appreciate that. Salerno is saying agree. That's great. Thank you, Salerno. All right. Tommy Brown says MAGA forever. Thank you, Tommy. Thanks so much. Yeah, okay. Edwin says, let's pray for another victory. I am praying for another victory, Edwin. Most certainly. Tommy Brown says, even Democrats love you, Tassif. Thank you, Tommy. Yeah, I see a lot of Democrats here. How do I know? Well, from their comments, I can see. I can get a pretty clear idea of where they stand on the political spectrum. And so there are lots of Democrats here watching this. And I'm glad they're here. Hopefully, my message will start to make sense to them. Even if it's not happening now, maybe very soon, sooner rather than later. And that's actually part of the reason why I do these live streams, because I'm not just speaking to people who agree with my viewpoints. I'm also speaking and addressing those who don't agree with my viewpoints, and I'm hoping that maybe some of them out there will start to realize, hey, listen, Tassif, whatever he was saying makes sense. So maybe he's right. Hopefully, I'll be able to change some hearts and minds. All right. Okay, so more than 45 minutes into the live stream. Do you have any questions for me? Otherwise, we can wrap up here very soon. Someone here saying, go drive a truck. I don't have a truck. I have SUV. I don't have a truck. There are lots of nice trucks out there in the market. So I was looking at some. Yeah, there are some really nice trucks, powerful engines. I drive gas-powered vehicles. Okay, so definitely I'd be happy to drive a truck. Yeah, like Toyota Tundra. Tundra is pretty good. A lot of people like the Ford F-150. I've never driven one, but I'm sure it's pretty good. The Ram trucks look really nice. And what else? Honda has one, Ridgeline. I mean, it's pretty nice too. I've never driven one, but I bet it's. I mean, Honda vehicles are very nice. What else about trucks? Nissan has the Titan, I think it's called. Is it called the Nissan Titan? That's a very good truck. Yeah, it all started when someone said, go drive a truck. I don't know where that comment came from, but yeah, I don't have a truck, unfortunately. Let's see, Nissan, is it Titan? Nissan Titan? Yeah, that's a pickup truck. Nissan Titan, that's pretty nice. But yeah, I'll say that the Ram trucks are very good. Edwin has a Toyota Tacoma. Yeah, Tacoma is good. What other trucks are out there? Yeah, GMC. Yeah. Oh, Rivian. I see those. I see Rivians on the roads. The headlight. I don't know if I like the headlight, but I know the Rivian trucks. I mean, I've never driven one, but I'm sure it's pretty good. Tommy has a Ford F450. Wow, that's great. Chevy Silverado. Okay. Yeah, we're now talking trucks. Because somebody said, go drive a truck. Yeah, why not? We got so many friends here. They're telling us what trucks they have. So they drive trucks. I don't have a truck. I'd love to have a truck. Sometimes, I need cargo space Um, let's say you buy a piece of furniture and you want to haul it back home. Having a truck makes it so easy. Otherwise, you're going to have to rent a truck if you cannot fit it in the back of the SUV, right? So trucks are very useful. Okay, so we got a viewer here, says that he has a big Yukon SUV. Okay, that's great. Someone says you don't need a truck, you need a dental plan. Okay. What's wrong with my teeth? I do have a dental plan. I do have dental insurance, in case you didn't know. Um, I have very good dentist also. That reminds me, I probably need to schedule an appointment maybe in January at some point. Yeah. Anyone else? Interesting comments today. My dentist is an excellent dentist, okay? Okay, someone says, hold on a second. Someone says, how can you wear that hat? Is that what you're saying? How can you wear that hat? You know how I wear that hat? I'll tell you how I wear that hat. So the hat sits on my desk like that. All right? The hat sits on my desk and I decide, oh, I'm going to wear that hat. So I pick it up and I put it on just like that. That's how I wear the hat. Because somebody just asked me, how can you wear that hat? That's how I wear it. Okay. It's very easy. It doesn't need any instructions. You just wear it like this. No, I'll wear this hat. Yeah, absolutely. Someone's asking, Rodriguez is asking, sir, are you American? Yes, I am. Yes, I'm an American citizen. I live in America. I live in the great city of Madison in the wonderful state of Wisconsin, also known as the Badger State, also known as America's Dairyland. Okay. Yeah, see, I like this conversation. Let's continue. Any other questions for me? Now, I'm not promising I'm going to answer all questions, okay? I can't possibly do that. There are too many questions, not enough time to answer. All right, I see somebody repeating a comment. If you repeat a comment, like, I don't know, dozens of times, that might compel me to block that person. Okay. Oh, someone here wants to know more about me. Hold on a second. Anyone who wants to know more about me, go to my website here. I'm going to give you my website, tosifanam.net. You can check out my biography. You can read more about me. Okay. Uh, Okay, someone's talking about South America. I can address that issue. Would you like me to talk about that? I think you're referring to Venezuela, right? You don't seem very happy. Do you want me to talk about that issue? I actually did. Um, I actually did talk about Venezuela multiple times previously, but I can address that again if you want. Just let me know if you want me to talk about the Venezuela issue, and I'll do that. Gordon says, love Trump from Canada. Awesome. Hey, Gordon, thank you. All right. Okay, let's talk about the Venezuela issue. Listen, I've talked about it in details, so I'm going to keep it very brief. The people of Venezuela, they want freedom. The people of Venezuela are suffering right now. The people of Venezuela are in a lot of pain right now because there's a brutal dictator in Venezuela named Nicolas Maduro. Maduro and his allies, they have formed this brutal regime, this dictatorship, this brutal regime that has committed many crimes, violation of human rights, and so many other different forms of crimes, human rights violations. So the people of Venezuela, they want freedom. They want to see Maduro gone. They want free and fair election in Venezuela. The Venezuelan people, they want democracy. And Venezuela can't have democracy as long as Maduro, Nicolas Maduro, the brutal dictator, is in power. And what Maduro has been doing is not only has he been hurting the people of his own country, but he has also, internationally, he has been causing a lot of problems. Okay? He has been trying to cause a lot of problems for the US. He has been trying to cause harm. Maduro, the Venezuelan dictator, he has been trying to cause harm to the people of the United States. And that's why the United States is taking action. That's why the Trump administration is taking action. And you've seen in recent months what's been going on. We've got a great Secretary of War, Pete Hegseth. We've got a great military, and the military has been taking action by striking the drug boats, the drug vessels. And now the United States is also seizing oil tankers because Venezuela is facing sanctions. These are sanctioned oil. So our military has been, the Trump administration and the military, they've all been taking action to address this issue. And, if Maduro departs from power, do you know who's going to be the happiest? The people of Venezuela. If Maduro is compelled to exit and to depart from power, the Venezuelan people will benefit the most. So it's about liberating the people of Venezuela. Because now they don't have liberty at this very moment because there's a brutal dictator in charge in Venezuela. So I think sooner or later, Maduro has to depart from power. Maduro has to go so that there can be democracy in Venezuela. Does that make sense? I think I've answered the question, right? Kay Cooper's here. Hello, Kay. We got our friend Kay Cooper from the great state of Texas. Someone's saying, same story. We go over and over. No, not same story. I've explained this issue before, but somebody asked me the question again, and so I said, briefly, I'll talk about it again. Okay. Any more questions for me? No questions for me? All right. Okay. Well, I hope you're all having a wonderful holiday season, wherever you are. I hope you're enjoying the weather. Well, it's kind of cold in Wisconsin, but in other places it's pretty pleasant, I think. Gordon says, we got all the snow. Gordon, where you from again? You got all the snow. Please tell me where you're from. Oh, British Columbia. Okay, yes. It's always wonderful to see, people joining from Canada. Canada is facing a lot of challenges too, obviously. Canada is facing challenges politically. Mark Carney, what am I going to say about Mark Carney? Yeah, we're not talking Canada today, but maybe soon we'll talk about Canada again. Yeah, border control has to be excellent. Yes, Gordon. The border has to be secure, and Canada has a big border. Yeah, about Canada, all I can tell you right now is what Ontario Premier Doug Ford did with that misleading ad using selected audio from Ronald Reagan's speech. That misleading ad that Ontario Premier Doug Ford allowed to go on air. That was such a bad move. That was so disrespectful what Doug Ford did. Okay. Oh, we got our friend Dee Dee here. Hello, Dee Dee. How are you? Good to see you, Dee Dee. That's Dee Dee from California here. Thank you for being here, Dee Dee. Gordon is saying, I don't agree with Doug Ford. Yeah, Gordon, you're right. You're right. What Doug Ford did, that was so bad. And that did a lot of damage to the US-Canada relationship, okay? Because we were having conversations with Canada about trade, and then Doug Ford I mean, where in the world did he come up with that idea to publish such a misleading ad? Unbelievable. Okay, someone's saying, please, please what? You want to ask me a question? Go ahead. Hey, listen, anyone can ask me a question. You don't have to ask me if you can ask me a question. You can just ask me whatever questions you have. If I answer, I can answer. Um, if the question is not meaningful, then I may not answer. Okay, so I apologize in advance. All right, let's see here. Steven's asking, when is your birthday? It's in October. Steven, thanks for asking. Thanks for asking, Steven. All right, you know what? I think I may be wrapping this up here soon. Z is asking me about a question about Bangladesh. Z, I actually published a podcast episode that you should check out about the tragedy in Bangladesh. Um, Sharif Osman Hadi, what a wonderful young man. He was killed, Sharif Osman Hadi, an extremely brave young man. It's a tremendous tragedy that he's not there anymore. He was killed, and it's a tremendous tragedy. And if you have seen the video from his funeral, you will not believe it. It's the funeral. How many people were there? It was a sea of people at the funeral. It was a sea of people. It's a sea of people. No one knows how many people were there because it was just a vast sea of people at his funeral. Very, very sad, very, very tragic. What a brave young man, a freedom fighter, a truly wonderful person. And I'll say just one thing: he's immortal. Okay, he's immortal. He will live forever. Okay, because how much people love him. Sharif Osman Hadi. Okay, that's the person I'm talking about who lost his life, but he will live forever. He's a brave, immortal soul. That's all I will tell you. But you can check out my latest podcast episode, not the latest, but one of the last 3 episodes. You'll see more detailed thoughts that I have about Sharif Osman Hadi. Okay, you can read that. Yeah, Z says I was watching the other. Thank you, Z. Thanks so much. Thanks for watching that. Okay. Yeah, it's actually a global news. It's all over. All over. Yeah, it's yeah. Read that. All right, Victoria is here. Hello, Victoria. Anyone else? By the way, are you all happy to see my hat back? Yeah, I know the last few live streams I missed wearing this hat, but it's back. Salerno loves it. K. Cooper loves it. Z loves it. Gordon loves it. Gordon says it's a good hat. Dee Dee says, yes, we love the MAGA hat. Thank you, Dee Dee. Dee Dee, how are things in California? You know, at some point, I'm going to have to talk about the gubernatorial race in California. Okay, I got lots of thoughts about it. And I bet it's going to be a long live stream when I do that. Stephen, thank you for your support, Stephen. I see what Stephen's writing. Stephen says, Tossif, run for a major office someday. Thank you, Stephen. Appreciate it very much. Wow, 40 likes on this video today. Can we make it 50? Maybe 10 more likes? And we'll get to 50. How about that? Can we do that? All right. All right, my friends, I'm going to wrap up this live stream now. Thank you all for being here. I appreciate each and every one of you for your support, for your words of encouragement. Although I understand there are some folks here who don't like me and they don't like anything that I say. That's all right. We can have different viewpoints. That's fine. And I'm okay with that. We have different viewpoints. That's absolutely fine. I believe in freedom of speech, so we're gonna share our viewpoints, and we can have a debate, we can have a discussion, we can learn from each other, hopefully. Thank you all. Just make sure that you are subscribing to this channel. Make sure that you are liking this video, sharing this video, letting your friends, family members, and your neighbors know about this channel so that they can also tune in for these live streams. I'll try to do as many live streams as I can. Obviously, life is busy. There are so many other things going on. Uh, but I'll try to do live streams because this is a community that we have that allows us from different parts of the country, from different parts of the world, to connect and discuss things that matter, discuss social and political issues, both domestic and international. So, okay. Someone says, if you were a nice person, I would like you. So you're saying I'm not a nice person? Okay, someone just told me I'm not a nice person. That's all right. That's all right. Yeah, that's fine. I understand that when I do these live streams, opening myself up for criticism. That's fine if you don't like my viewpoints. If you think I'm not a good person, that's all right. But you know what? I believe in unity. I really do. I believe that in spite of differences in political viewpoints, we can still be nice to each other, okay? Just because you and I don't have the same political viewpoint, it doesn't mean that there's any need for rude words or harsh words. No, 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 no. We should be nice to everyone. We should be nice to everyone. We should be kind, whether the political views are aligned or not. Okay. I mean, even within the same family, different people can have different political ideologies. That's fine. And even people who belong to the same political party, they don't agree on everything 100% of the time. Like, I'm a Republican. I have Republican friends. Maybe I agree with them, 90% of the time, 95% of the time, but maybe not 100%, because even within the same political umbrella, under the same political umbrella, you can have differences of opinions, and that's normal. So anyway, yeah, so whatever conclusion you draw about me, that's fine. You can like me, you can not like me, that's all right. But I wish you all the very best. I wish everyone the very best. I really do, okay? Democrats, Republicans, independents, whatever your viewpoints are. As human beings, we should be kind to each other. We should pray for each other. We should, we should all hope for the best for everyone, okay? Thank you all so very much, my friends. May God bless you all. May God bless President Donald J. Trump. May God bless the Trump administration. May God bless the Republicans in Washington. May God bless the United States of America. May God bless our U.S. allies. And may God bless freedom-loving people all over the world. And before I conclude, let me remind you once again, the Maine U.S. Senate race, the U.S. Senate race in Maine is very important. And Susan Collins, the Republican senator, must be re-elected because we need to hold on to that seat. We, the Republicans, we need to hold on to that Senate seat. So let's hope for the best. All right. Thank you so very much, my friends. I'll see you very soon because I hope to be back again soon with more live streams and more videos. Thank you so very much. Have a good night, friends.